The last time Sam Bradford took an NFL snap, Chris Christie still looked like a meatball, Marcus Mariota hadn't even started his final season at Oregon, and Bruce Jenner was still a man. But Bradford got his feet wet for the first time in nearly a year Saturday, connected on a few passes, took a couple hits, and most importantly, left the game unscathed. And the Philadelphia Eagles dominated another preseason game, this time 40-17 over the Baltimore Ravens. But come on, guys, can we, save this for the regular season? Mike Owens is here. Jeremy Burton is here as well. We're here to break it down. Week 2 of the preseason. We're almost there to the regular season. How's it going, guys? Jeremy, let's start with you, man.
Oh, what's up, man? This is an exciting game. 76 points in 2 games. You gotta love it. I love the opening kickoff. The tone setter, our WWE wrestler Brian Bremen, breaks a double team, opening tackle, a la Bill Goldberg's spear, takes out Asa Jackson, and just set the tone for the game. I knew it would be a great game.
Mike, your thoughts on the game?
Hey, Bradford took 2 big hits, and he's still alive. So I think that's the biggest news, of the whole game there.
Can I start this show with a rant? Is it okay if I start with a rant? Can I go for a minute?
Ran away.
All right. So I just wanted to talk really, really quickly. There's this guy on YouTube, and I saw him on Twitter a couple days ago. His name is Kyle Meager. Never heard of this guy before. But a couple days ago on Twitter, he tweeted out something. He's like the RG3 of YouTube. He thinks he's the best Eagles video maker here. And there was a retweet I saw. And I'm like, all right, I'll check this guy out, check his videos out. Did a video where, kind of talked about Sam Bradford, kind of a Bradford hater. All right, fine. You're entitled to your own opinions. I'm not going to hate you for it. But then I saw a tweet yesterday where he goes, I feel like we are wasting our time with Bradford. I saw nothing from him yesterday that made me believe he's a championship quarterback. It's stuff like this that makes our fan base look idiotic. We are the most impatient fan base in the country. Sam Bradford threw 5 passes. He played 1 series. He hasn't played in a year. He hasn't played a regular season game since October of 2013, and the guy is giving up on him already. Oh boy, this is like everything. This is like shaking your head, palm to the face. I want to just, break my wall right now. I don't know what some people think. I mean, guys, what do you guys think about this? Why are people already giving up on Sam Bradford after 1 game? What is this?
Yeah, I don't know, why people would overreact like that to 1 preseason game. Like you said, Bradford, he only threw a few passes, but, from my eyes, I thought that Bradford did a pretty decent job. And I think that everything that we've seen in training camp so far, the accuracy, his quick release, I think we saw that here in this game against the Ravens. And just a lot of positive signs, I think. We all wanted to see Bradford, take that hit. And he took the 1 big hit. And he also survived the 1 hit to his knees from Suggs. So, and he didn't throw an interception. He let a TD drive, in fact. So I think all is positive there with Bradford.
Yeah. Jeremy, thoughts on Bradford?
Yeah, I mean, given the circumstances, like you said, it's been years since he played in a meaningful game and over a year since even the preseason snap. And, he's got all the intangibles. He's got the skill set. We all know that. It's just, there's a rust factor. But I was just really happy to see him get his feet wet. He made a couple nice throws. Maybe a couple were a little shaky, a little inaccurate, a little low to Huff, or a little fastball to Sproles that kind of went through his hands. But I think, all in all, I mean, it was a good performance, and he, like you said, took those hits, some couple scary hits. We were waiting for him to get up. Hopefully he was, smiling. He wasn't quite smiling, but, he took those first couple hits. He got licked by D tackle, and then Suggs obviously went kind of low. We were all holding our breath for a second, but, it all worked out.
Yeah, what we saw from Bradford is about what I expected. I didn't expect him to come out, on fire or anything. I expected some inaccuracy because there's some jitters there. He hasn't played in a long time. He played 1 series. And also the other thing you got to take into account, that first series for a quarterback, it's like a pitcher in the first inning. The guys get better as the game goes along. You can't just expect him to just come out firing. And he had the low ball to Huff. He overthrew Cooper a little bit. He had the double clutch to Aguilar, even though it was taken away because there was a holding penalty on Suggs. What I saw is what I expected. And coming into the game, I didn't care about the accuracy. I wanted to see him take a hit, and we saw him not only take one hit, we saw him take 2 hits. Brandon Williams ate him, then spit him out. I mean, that was a huge hit. Bradford was like, holy shit, so that's what it's like to get hit in the NFL. He remembered what it was like. And then Suggs, I mean, he took a shot at the knees, kind of a cheap shot. But you know what? He took a hip to the knees, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. He's going to get hit in the knees during the regular season, so it's good to get him back and acclimated to all that stuff.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I think the biggest thing, though, on that drive was, it really seemed like it was an eternity considering all the things that happened on one drive. But, Bradford did a really nice job, especially converting on third down. The Eagles actually got into a little bit of a hole at one point because they got a holding call and they were set back a bit. And I was interested to see how he was going to be able to respond from that. I kind of thought that might have been a drive killer, but they were able to get the first down. Sproles, it was a nice job. He, coming out there as a wide receiver out in the slot, and Bradford hit him right over the middle. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that this season. But the key was for Bradford to be able to really go down and gel with this really a new group. A new offense.
Yep.
Very true. Another thing you mentioned all these holding calls and everything. I thought there were so many penalties in this game, and you said that extended that drive. That drive did seem like Bradford was on the field forever, even though it was just one drive. But the positives, obviously, he led us to a touchdown. He took his hits, took his licks, got back up, and showed some poise in the pocket. He got protection. The offensive line looked good. So all in all, I think it's a good. Got his feet wet. Good first step. Good first series for him as an Eagle.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just to kind of go really quickly with he threw the ball 6 times, even though technically he went 3 for 5 because, like I said before, the one got there was a holding penalty, so no pass attempt technically on the play. We kind of went over it a little bit, but missed Cooper on the go route. That was his first pass. I mean, maybe if it was Aguilar running, maybe he would have completed that. Barely missed him. You had Mike talk about how he hit Sproles in stride, kind of motioned out into the slot, ran an arrow route, perfect throw, led him perfectly. Then you had one where it went through the hands of Sproles. The problem with that throw, a little bit too much velocity there. If Sproles is open, didn't really need to throw it that hard. You had the double clutch to Aguilar, showed a little bit of indecisiveness, but again, play didn't count. You had the low throw to Huff on crossing route, kind of impeded his stride. Obviously, when you catch the ball on a crossing route, you want it, around your shoulder so you can keep running. And then you had the hook to Matthews, ran like a 10-yard hook, hit him perfectly right between the numbers. So those were his 6 passes. It was basically, what you expect from Bradford. He picked up the key third downs. So he had 3 third down conversions on the drive, and that's what you want to see. Quarterbacks make their money on third down. He picked up 3 of them.
Yeah, and he's still alive. So
He's still alive. Yeah. Brandon Williams, man, ate him literally. Buffet.
The third downs were huge, though. It is good to see.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's talk about the hit really quickly. That's been a little bit controversial. Today who's the official? I forget what his name is, but basically said the hit was clean from Suggs and all that. I'm going to let Mike take this one over from here because you made a great point pre-show about the hit.
Yeah, well, everyone in the media is, talking about this hit, and if it was legal or illegal, and really, I don't think that's the factor here. I mean, that point doesn't really matter. The thing was, I mean, this is a preseason game. The Ravens knew that Bradford is coming off 2 knee surgeries, and they went right after his knee. I mean, really, if you're gonna do that, I would at least wait till the regular season, preseason game. I think it was a cheap shot in that way. Probably was a legal hit, but I don't think that Suggs needed to do that.
No. Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Mike. I think it was a legal hit. I mean, in that read option moment, the quarterback is technically a ball carrier, and you're taught as a defender you want to break that point, where the ball's in transition, whether he's quarterback's going to keep it, running back takes it. You want to get in the middle there, maybe cause a turnover. But it was clear that Suggs, he clearly went literally right for the bottom of his legs, right for his knees. It's just like, it's kind of uncalled for. But I mean, kind of expected from a player like Suggs. He's kind of a dirty player.
Yeah, the hills have eyes. That's all I gotta say. Looks like a sloth. Looks like the hills have eyes. Looks like a donkey. All mixed into one.
But you would take him on our team.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, really good football player. But the thing that's concerning about this is now at the NFL, it's like, all right, well, as a zone read quarterback, you're allowed to be hit. So now you're going to have all these NFL teams like seeing this. They're like, oh, well, we're just going to take some shots on Bradford then. They want to run the zone read. Well, we're going to take shots on Bradford. You think Greg Hardy right now, he's chopping at the bit. Now, we don't see him week 2, but week 8, oh, he's going to take his shots.
He definitely will.
This is what I'm concerned about with this, is other teams seeing this and be like, all right, well, we know Bradford, has the injury history, and we're going to target him. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen.
Yeah, well, and that's what the reporters they were asking Chip Kelly about, basically, the same type of questions and the same type of concerns, and Chip kind of blew it off because he didn't think that the hit was legal anyway, because he said that Chip was saying that it wasn't a zone read, which would have made the hit illegal. So kind of blew it off, but it's definitely a concern. But at the same time, why I think this whole thing is stupid, because say that was Russell Wilson or Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers back in that situation. I mean, this would be out of control right now. The league would be changing the rule. So just because it was Bradford, everyone is wondering if it was a legal hit or illegal, and they're not worrying about the health of the quarterback.
Yeah, good point there. All right, moving on, because Bradford wasn't the only one who made his Eagles debut on Saturday. DeMarco Murray played some as well, as did Ryan Matthews. Both of them, we're seeing getting a little preview as to what to expect this coming season. One-cut running, decisive one-cut running, and they look great so far, that little tandem there.
They look, beyond good. They are on point. They're ready to go for the season. You start with Murray, and the funny part about Murray is in training camp, it's kind of been like a comedian act with Murray, because he's always with the trainers, or he's taking a day off. There was even one practice where Malcolm Jenkins was joking around, and he got a folding chair, from the sideline, and put it in the end zone, so Murray could sit down and have a nice view while he was watching practice. But obviously everything is fine with that. Murray. I mean, his first carry as an Eagle goes for 9 yards, and well, after that, that's all I needed to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really exciting. I think the offensive line is really excited to block for them as well. Our starting offensive line unit looked very cohesive. Huge running lanes for these one-cut runners now. Matthews' touchdown was a thing of beauty. I mean, he went untouched. That left side of the line looked great. Peters has even said that he thinks Matthews and Murray can go for 1,000 yards apiece. Like, wouldn't that be nice? So, yeah, they definitely look great, and I loved Murray's debut.
Yeah, you just previewed my next topic there, Jeremy. 5 teams in NFL history have had multiple players go for over 1,000 yards rushing. Can the Eagles become the 6th? We'll start with Mike there.
I think that they have a great shot. I mean, I think that it's going to be very close. You're definitely Murray's definitely going to get over 1,000. The only thing would be with Matthews, and I think that I have him in the range now of like 800 yards to 1,000 yards. So he's going to be right on that cusp. Now, a lot of this will also come down to, we'll get into this later, but kind of the fourth running back spot, because we know that they're going to use Sproles more as a receiver. But if they really like Kenyon Barner, there's a chance that he could actually see action in some of these games, because he will be on special teams, so he'll be active on game day. So he's a guy that could end up actually taking some carries away from Matthews. But I would say right now it's going to be close. I mean, I would say I'll say yes, but could go either way.
Yeah, it's a good point with Barner. But I think I would say I'm right in your range too with Matthews. I definitely say Murray gets over 1,000, and then Matthews I'm 8, 9, maybe 1,000. It's going to be close, but Chip Kelly loves running the ball. So anything's possible with our offensive line looking as good as it is, and our offense in general is looking this good. I mean, I know it's only preseason, but we have a lot of weapons, a lot of mouths to feed through the air and through the running game. So it's a tough call. I think it's going to be close as far as the whole 1,000, 2,000 yard backs.
Yeah, I'm about the same as you guys. I'm thinking like 1,200 for Murray, 800 for Matthews. They're not going to get there, but I think they'll definitely come close. I believe the last tandem to do it was D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, and before that you had Derek Ward and I think it was Brandon Jacobs. So those were the last 2 to do it, and then even before that you had Warwick Dunn and Michael Vick. So those were the last 3. I don't remember the other ones. I think the Dolphins did it in the 70s. With Mercury Morris and Larry Zonka. I don't know the last one, but those are 4 of them. And that's a good point you make there with Mike with Barner if they decide to keep him on the team. But we will get to that one later. And the other thing I wanted to bring up with this tandem of running backs, obviously last year our struggles in the red zone definitely evident. 49.15% touchdown percentage last season. That was 23rd in the league. That was down from 53.23% in 2013. That was 13th. And the reason why we were good in 2013 was because Nick Foles, I mean, obviously he was, lightning out of a hat, touchdowns all the time. So, but it looks like the different style of running, the one-cut running, and the cohesion of the offensive line, it looks like we're going to be a lot better near the goal line in terms of running the ball inside, the 10-yard line. That's something McCoy wasn't great at, was, getting touchdowns.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can see the difference already in these preseason games. These running plays, they're literally walking into the end zone, and a lot of that has to do like the blocking, like you were talking about, and it's also with that new style of running that Chip Kelly has brought in here with Murray and Matthews, the one-cut style of running, and it's really paying dividends right now.
Yeah, I agree. As well as the running game in the red zone, and as well as the passing game, you hope Bradford, makes a lot quicker decisions than Nick Foles did. I think so. Hopefully he improves our red zone efficiency. But yeah, the running game I think is going to be a huge strong point in our offense, and I'm really excited for it.
I'm really loving what I'm seeing from Matthews so far. He's a former first round pick, but he only had really the one great season because health has been a factor. He had that one great season. I forget which season it was, but one great year with San Diego. And what I'm seeing from him is a very decisive back, great one-cut runner. That touchdown that you referenced earlier, Jeremy, got the block from Jason Peters. Matthews set that up perfectly. He had the vision and the decisive cut, really quick cut to the outside, easy 6 points. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And to be honest with you, in terms of the skill set, he's really not too far off from Murray. Not saying he's better, but he's right there, man. I really think so.
And he's looking strong too. Like he's I think he's seemed like he really trained hard this offseason. He looks pretty looks pretty strong, and I mean that is an unbelievably exciting combo we have there in the top two, with Murray and Matthews. And then like Mike said earlier, I totally agree. I think Sproles might be used more as a receiver. Chip Kelly was quoted last year, I believe, after we beat the Colts. Sproles had like 150 yards receiving, and in his post-game press conference, Chip said, like, "Oh, I told you guys, like Sproles is a receiver." So I think, who knows, maybe Barner might be that third in rotation, and Sproles might just be strictly a out of the backfield slot, little arrow routes kind of guy. But yeah, running back position is very exciting on our team.
Yeah, absolutely. By far the best, uh, best trio running backs in the league right now. So I don't think it's close. All right, moving on, because we have to talk about it. The worst part about watching the game at a bar for us on Saturday was listening to some Eagles fans wondering when it's the second quarter, and fans are like, "Wow, when's Tebow coming in?" Why? God, I hate that.
Oh God.
Oh, so we're just gonna touch on this really, really quickly. Matt Barkley looked really, really good in his first preseason game. He was the complete opposite on Saturday. Looked really, really bad. Tebow was, it's kind of what you expect from him. He's kind of a one-read quarterback, and if that first read isn't there, he doesn't really know what he's doing, and that's what kind of leads to a lot of sacks. So took a couple sacks again. Obviously runs the zone read really, really well, but I'm not really seeing much. But if I think Tebow's going to make this team, but yeah, we'll pass it off to you guys. Jeremy, what are your thoughts? Who makes the team?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go with Tebow just because of our style of offense. He had that 26-yard run. He scored on the zone read in week one. And like you said, Barkley he was Matt Barkley again. So I think Tebow, has the edge, and the way Chip talks about him, I just get the feeling he's gonna be on the team.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, well, you see Barkley come in. First thing he does, overthrow. It's back to the same old Barkley. Tebow, you know what you're going to get from him. We've seen it now over the first two preseason games. It's not going to be anything spectacular, but he does have that ability to run, and I think in the end, that's what's going to win him the third quarterback job there, is that he has the ability to run that zone read. So, yeah, people are going to, really be pumped up when Tebow makes a team, but he's going to be our third string quarterback, and that's it.
And the worst part is we're probably going to do a show on it because people are going to want to watch it.
We'll see when the final roster cuts happen.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. That's it though. No more. No more Tebow talk. Sorry, guys. Only a couple minutes.
Tebow time is over.
Tebow time is, yep, ticked away. Ticked away really quickly. All right, next topic. Secondary play. Our
I like
secondary. Oh, dude. I'm loving the way we are aggressively pressing at the line of scrimmage. We're turning and looking for the ball. Corey Unlin, I love you. Praise. Praise. I love him.
Great signing, man. Defensive backs coach. We made Joe Flacco look like he was a former Super Bowl MVP, and we made him look like he was still in, Pee Wee football. We got 2 interceptions off him. I loved Nolan Carroll's play. It was probably one of my favorite plays, and Walter Thurman had the awareness to just literally, I think he almost caught it like he caught it like one-handed. But Nolan Carroll just turned back, looked at the ball, found the ball, boom, tipped, little tip right to Thurman. He was right there. And Byron Maxwell caught that one. He was, I think, in zone coverage, and that was an overthrow, and it kind of went right to him. And very, very physical, like you said. Our corners are big. Chip Kelly likes his big players. So it's definitely a big improvement off of the 31st ranked pass defense last year. And you said Corey Unlin. I think we brought in the right guy for the job.
Yeah, I completely agree with Jeremy saying there. I mean, all you have to do is talk about Unlin, and the one thing he preaches in practice is that technique. And through the first 2 preseason games, I think that we can see a huge difference here in the secondary. And, to get interceptions from 2 of our starters on defense, that's big.
Yeah, going back to that Carroll play, that was my favorite play of the game. And everything that Unlin has been preaching, you could see it in that play. He got the press on Kamar Aiken right from the line of scrimmage. He was in perfect position, got underneath his hip, was stride for stride with him the whole way, turned and looked for the ball, knocked it away. Walter Thurman made the interception. Perfect quarterback play. Amazing. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
Hell of a play.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some other cornerbacks. Let's go with E.J. Biggers, Jalen Watkins, Eric Rowe. Let's talk about these 3 guys. There's been no bigger surprise, in my opinion, and I'm sure you guys concur with me, than E.J. Biggers. And he keeps making plays. He's scaring me because when I tweet, the B and the N are very, very close to each other on the keyboard. So I got to be really careful. Hopefully autocorrect, helps me out if I do mess up one time. But Watkins and Biggers, to me, both of their coverage, both had really good coverage on Saturday, but Biggers was tackling a whole lot better. And that's kind of what I saw. Eric Rowe, he's a rookie. He's still kind of learning. There's some growing pains with him. I didn't think he played that great, but there's nothing to worry about because it's their second preseason game for a rookie cornerback, and I've preached it before. Cornerback is a tough transition from the college game, so I'm not going to fret about him. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Biggers.
Yeah, I thought that if we would have to get down to Biggers at playing cornerback this season, that we would be in trouble. But this guy has really, shocked the hell out of us. He's come out and he's been playing the best, out of all the cornerbacks. He's doing a great job, and if he can continue to play like that, that'll be huge because it'll really give us some, depth there at the cornerback spot. And you talk about Watkins. He's a guy that he has good coverage, but sometimes he has a problem tackling. So that's always been his flaw. So hopefully he can clean that up. And then, like you were talking about, Rowe, he's going to probably start this season there as, the slot cornerback. And it's a rookie, so, they probably expect some mistakes. But I think that he's done, a pretty decent job so far.
Yeah, Jeremy?
Comparing Biggers and Watkins, I mean, Biggers is he's got those intimidating dreadlocks. He's more aggressive. He can tackle. he has more experience. He's played longer on previous teams than obviously Watkins in his second year. Watkins is, I think, a little bit smaller guy, and he said he had tackling issues. Yeah, I think Biggers has the edge over Watkins, and then they're going to try Rowe in that rotation as well. Like you said, rookie growing pains, but we'll see how it all shakes out. It's definitely funny that you you bashed Biggers so much, like in an earlier show, about he had the worst, like the quarterbacks of the best QB rating thrown against them in like the league, and then now he's really showing he wants to make this team and be a contributor.
Hashtag Unwin factor. That's all I have to say. Because
all-
if you turn on the tape and watch EJ Biggers last season, awful, bad. There's a reason why his passer rating was the second worst among all quarterbacks. He was really, really bad. That's why he shocked the hell out of me. But I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It happens. I was wrong about it. It's been good. So, yeah, moving on. All right, this is where we're going to talk about Kenyon Barner and if he's going to make the team. It seems like we're all just kind of assuming he might. And so I'll just throw the question out there. Is Kenyon Barner going to make this 53-man roster?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it at this point. I mean, I know it's a preseason. We've seen guys in the preseason at running back explode before. Guys like, Dion Lewis, and, well, he really didn't turn into much. But I think with Barner here, we've got something. I mean, if anything, he's going to be a factor on special teams, and that's big. But to have Barner as a fourth-string running back, I mean, hey, that's not a bad option at all.
Yeah, it shows our awesome depth. Just like a lot of positions in our team. Um, Also, with the special teams factor, I mean, obviously, as the back-to-back preseason, punt return touchdowns in the preseason, back-to-back weeks. I think he's learning from one of the best, and Darren Sproles kind of takes him under the wing. And I know before the Colts game, he kind of asked him to, told him to study how Pat McAfee was punting and, how the ball comes off his foot and everything. And that, he's really learning from one of the best in Sproles. And I think if Sproles transitions to more of like a slot receiver, like we were saying, taking Sproles away from that punt return game, he won't be susceptible to injury as much. And if we leave that job to Barner as well as a fourth running back option, I mean, I think he definitely has a lot of potential on our team, and I think he more than deserves a spot, and I think he will get it. I mean, he was a former Duck anyway, right?
Yeah, quack, quack. Yeah, all right, so yeah, I guess I'll give my opinion on this now. Sproles getting up there in age. Looks like he's going to get a lot of reps playing that little slot position, so we might see some more time out on the field. Why not have Barner back there, return some punts? Clearly he's capable of doing it. Obviously, you have Nelson Aguilar who can return punts too, but I'd rather have Barner back there. Barner looks really, really good. His cutting is outstanding. I mean, he's had 2 cuts that have been sick on those punt return for touchdowns. I wouldn't mind him making the team. Definitely wouldn't mind it at all. And this is where I'm going to say this too really quick on Raheem Mostert, because I'm loving what I'm seeing from Mostert too. He's just not going to make the team. I mean, he's a practice squad guy. Very speedy in space. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him. He has the ability to bounce it to the outside as well. In a lot of ways, he's a better pure running back than Barner is. But Barner brings the special teams factor, and that's what's going to make him on the team. But the thing for Mostert, what's going to happen, you get the tape out there for other teams to kind of digest and see what you have in him, and he definitely will be in the NFL at some point in his future. So just to touch on Mostert a little bit.
Yeah, well, the Eagles then, I mean, yeah, they're essentially 5 deep, right now at that running back spot. And the guy like Mostert, you hope that the Eagles can put him on that practice squad, and hopefully he's a guy that you can develop, because he's definitely a guy that has a lot of potential. And eventually down the line, Eagles are going to need that, the next young running back. So, maybe he's a guy for the future, but, for right now, obviously he's not going to be able to make the team, but practice squad.
Yeah, yeah. And, going back to your point really quickly, you mentioned Dion Lewis. Henry Josie led the preseason in rushing yards, and he's never even taken a snap in the NFL. So that kind of goes to show to you how meaningless preseason can be. But even though Josie led the NFL in the rushing yards in that preseason, I didn't really see much from him. It's kind of a different story with Mostert. I see a little bit more. I see the explosion and the bouncing outside ability. He's, you put him in space, he's going to make you miss, and that's what I like from Mostert. So I guess we'll move on now. Next topic, last really topic today that we're going to talk about. We had Vinny Curry play some snaps at outside linebacker, really for the first time. Obviously, a little bit different now. Not a 3-4 DN, not in the dirt. He's standing upright, rushing. I wanted to see him try and drop back in coverage. I didn't see that from him. He did get beaten twice on the bootleg, got faked out, but from that standing position, he did get a lot of pressure on quarterback.
Yeah, no, I definitely noticed that too with Curry. He had those 2 plays where he got beat on the play action bootleg, but he did respond nicely there, and got to give him credit for that. But yeah, obviously switching to that, the 3-4 outside linebacker role, he's going to have some stumbling blocks here, but yeah, he still was doing a nice job getting some pressure on the quarterback. So I don't think there's really much to worry there with Curry. Just some growing pains learning that new position. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that we'll be talking about him getting after the quarterback in the regular season.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can help our depth at outside linebacker. I mean, I love Vinny Curry. He's a local guy. He's a diehard Eagles fan. I'm like so happy he's on the team. He wants to do the best, what's best for the team. And they actually told him to like kind of beef up from the offseason in anticipation to be a pass rusher at a DN. But now with Marcus Smith, he might have this lingering injury, and I still say we should rotate Kiko out there or Michael Kendricks, in my opinion, which is also kind of disappointing. That's another topic. Like, we haven't seen them play at all yet. So we've been seeing a lot of Najee Good, Emmanuel Acho, and Brad Jones. But, the center, the linebacker is an interesting position. Hopefully get more clarity with it, and hopefully Vinny maybe can get past those growing pains and help out in coverage more, because we know he can rush the quarterback.
Yeah, and it takes some time. It took Brandon Graham some time to learn it. Trent Colt took some time to learn it too. It's the dropping back in coverage part, which is difficult, because these are big, massive men. Asking them to drop back in coverage, I mean, not everyone has that agility to do it, and that's what I really wanted to see. But if you're going to have Curry out there in 3-4 outside linebacker situation, it's going to be to rush the quarterback. So you're probably not going to see him in coverage. Obviously, you have to mix it up, so your defense doesn't become predictable. But we'll see what happens, and maybe someone else steps up, so you don't really have to have Curry out there. You talked about Brian Bremen. You got we'll talk about some of these guys later, because we are going to. In a few minutes, we're going to talk about some players who are under the radar that no one's talking about, and who are catching our eye right now, and we'll get to that. So moving on, really last topic. We'll just talk about this really, really quickly. Andrew Gardner, it seems like, has solidified himself as the right guard. What are your thoughts on that really quickly? John Moffitt is struggling.
Yeah, I think this was, pretty much expected from what we saw towards the end of, training camp there. Gardner really solidified that right guard spot. And, we've said all along that Moffitt's a guy that'll probably take over halfway through the season, if that even happens. And, by watching this preseason game against the Ravens, you could, in the second half, you could really see Moffitt still has some work to do. really just he was getting manhandled. So he's just got to get back. He's got to get that quickness back. But with Rick Gardner right now at right guard, I mean he's playing well. So I mean initially there was a little bit of concern because we really weren't sure how Gardner or Tobin would do starting out that right guard spot. But with the way Gardner is playing, really not too concerned about it.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier in the show, I mean, our starting offensive line unit looked, I mean, great, and I think they really enjoy blocking for, our top duo and our running backs. Even Tobin, they've been using him a lot on the left side of the line now, even as second string behind Peters or Alan Barbary. So I think the competition is over. I think Andrew Garner has won that spot, and hopefully he can just stay in a cohesive unit with the rest of the line.
Yeah, it's just simply rust. Moffitt hasn't played in a long time. What I'm seeing is he's getting way too overextended, losing his balance, way over his knees. He's leaning too far in his blocks. He's getting just manhandled. Anybody with quickness, they're going right by him. He's not anchoring in pass protection. He's probably been the worst player on our team. To me, honestly, he's been really, really bad, and that's that. So, those are our quick thoughts on those guys. Now this is where we do want to talk about the under the radar players who we think are stepping up and making a name for themselves, but maybe nobody else is talking about. So we'll start with Mike, and I guess we each have two players that we're going to talk about. So Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, these are two former Oregon guys that I'm going to talk about on the defensive side of the ball. On the defensive line, you got the two defensive ends and Brandon Bear and then Taylor Hart. Taylor Hart was a guy that we drafted last year in the 5th round. Seemed like kind of a stretch for a guy like Taylor Hart, but obviously with the Oregon connection, Chip Kelly wanted to grab him there in the 5th round. And, Brandon Bear, who is a guy that, gained some recognition, last season, especially in the preseason. And he's doing it again this year. But, the one thing that I really noticed watching the game there in the second half with Bear and Taylor Hart, especially Taylor Hart, really bulked up, put on a lot of weight. So it'll be interesting to see if those are guys that can, maybe get some more playing time this year. Especially Hart, who essentially didn't play at all last year. So we'll see what they can do. But obviously, with the depth along that defensive line, it'll be tough for them to really make an impact.
Jer, I know you love the man with the ponytail.
I love the man. I mean, he's definitely he's locked in for the team. The other guy I want to talk about is fighting for a spot. But Brian Brayman, yeah, he's got the intensity and he's just the linebacker you look for. He can set the tone. I mean, I don't see why you don't put him in rotation on the outside linebacking position now that we're hurting in depth there. I mean, who knows? He could turn into, a stud on the defensive side of the ball as well as you already know he's a special team stud. And then another guy I like is Rasheed Bailey, also the local kid, catches everything. He had a great one-handed grab last week. Had a handful of grabs this week again. I think 4 grabs, like 37 yards. And just kind of the underdog story that all us Philadelphians pull for. Division III college player. So hoping he can maybe beat out Jeff Mail or something like that for the 5th or 6th wide receiver spot.
Yeah. My first player is Jerome Copeland, returned from his appendectomy. We're going to need a third safety. Earl Wolf was cut this week, finally. This is something actually the Bitter Birds called months ago. We were like, no, Earl Wolf's not going to make this team. And it finally happened. He took a lot of good angles to the ball carrier, a lot of good hits, big hits, filled the holes. I really like what I saw from him. Maybe doesn't fit what we want to do for a safety, kind of a bigger kind of safety, a lot more physical kind of safety. But I really like him a lot. I saw some limited tape on him last year in Detroit. Detroit's got a lot of depth at safety, so he didn't play that much. You got who you got there? Clover Quinn. You got James Hedigbo, Isaac Abdul Kadus. So those three guys were playing in front of Copeland, and they're all three really good players. But Copeland, I think, has a chance to be a solid contributor on this team. And the other guy I want to talk about, Jeremy referenced the depth at outside linebacker. By the way, I completely agree. There's no reason why Brian Brayman can't get a shot. Playing outside, getting the snaps. You got Graham and Barwin. There's no reason why he can't be that third guy. Now this guy, this name, Taheem Watkins. I've liked what I've seen so far from him. We just picked him up, I believe. But I like what I saw from him. Got some good rush on the quarterback. Obviously, he's playing in the second half with third stringers, so it's kind of hard to gauge how good he really is. But he's out there making positive plays. At least they're not negative. So that's like the one really under the radar guy that I like. And that's that. So those are our 6. So that's it. And we're pretty much gonna wrap things up right now. We're basically talked about everything we needed to talk about. Overall, another solid performance, and hopefully we can. Well, we're forcing all these turnovers. Let's just hope they can keep continuing into the regular season.
Yeah, exactly right. That would be huge. If we can create those turnovers come the regular season when it all counts. But as of right now, it's looking good. Looks like a big improvement in the secondary. So that's really what this whole preseason has been about. Watching that, new and improved secondary and the Unlin, new defensive backs coach. So everything's going well so far.
You look at the Patriots and the Seahawks last year. They only had 13 and 14 turnovers respectively on their team. We had, I believe, over 36. We had like 36 or 39, one of those two numbers, turnovers last year. That number has to be cut more than in half. I mean, we got to be, I'd say, 18 or less. Bradford knows how to take care of the ball. Winning the turnover battle is key in a winning team. So seeing all these turnovers now is really exciting, and I just hope it translates to the regular season. We've said Corey Unlin's name many times, but yes, I think he plays a big part in that secondary getting the turnovers we have.
Yeah, it is final thoughts time. We're wrapping it up quickly now, so we'll start with Mike. What do you have to say?
Well, so far, first two preseason games, we faced some stiff tests, and going against the Colts and going against the Ravens, came out with convincing wins. But usually the third preseason game, that's the one that you really watch, because this is where guys make their final stance before the regular season, and we're gonna see guys. Looks like Kiko Alonso. We're gonna see Kendricks play. We're gonna see D'Amico Ryans play. So we'll get all 3 of our inside linebackers back, and hopefully we'll see an extended look at Bradford. And also, we're going against the Packers, which is a team that we're going to have to go through if we want to get to that Super Bowl 50.
Yeah. Bring on the discount double check. see what our secondary can do against Aaron Rodgers. That's definitely I'm looking forward to that. And like Mike said, seeing all the linebackers play and see how that rotation inside is going to be like. We haven't seen D'Amico or Kendricks or Kiko at all. We're 1 week closer to the regular season, and I can smell it.
You guys smell that. That is success. That is winning. We are winning meaningless preseason games. Well, let's hope it keeps continuing into the regular season. I guess I'll give a really quick final thought, because I'm trying not to get too excited over this, because it is the preseason. The thing that you must remember is you're not seeing any exotic defenses. We got basic offenses, and it's preseason. And Mike, looks like you wanted to show me something.
We actually have breaking news on the Bitter Birds right now.
Oh
This
no!
is actually this is a little bit shocking. People thought that Kendricks was done here, but he's not. 4 more years.
Wow!
Extension?
Of course, we do the show 1 hour too early. They signed him to a contract extension, so 4-year contract extension.
Wow. This is just making the Jordan Hicks signing drafting look even dumber.
16.4 mil guaranteed. I just had to check my phone too. I got
Wow.
4 years, 29 million. Wow.
That's actually a pretty good deal for us.
That is. 4 years, only 4 million a year guaranteed, and
Yeah.
6 million a year overall. No,
Huh?
7. But yeah, not bad. I love it.
Oh, it's outstanding. I love Kendricks. He's one of my favorite players on the team.
Oh.
So now I know I can go buy a Kendricks jersey.
I was just gonna say that we're safe to buy a Kendrick jersey now. Good stuff, man.
No, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Unfortunately, we're almost like an hour into the show. It's like hopefully, people will stick around to watch it and want to hear about this because this is great news. Maybe I'll do something quick, a little short video. I don't know, but that is very good news. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, great way to end the show.
Great way to end the show. Yeah.
All right.
Go Birds.
Yeah. So we'll end it right now. Jerry Burton, Mike Owens, I'm Adrian Fedque. Great stuff. Eagles looking good. Let's just keep calm though and chip on. All right, that's all I got to say. We're out of here. Go Birds, baby.
Go Birds.